Charlotte just dropped $650 million of your tax dollars on a 28-year-old stadium, and City Council didn't even blink. Most people think that this just is about keeping a football team happy, but what if I told you this decision will reshape Charlotte's economic landscape for the next 30 years? And here's the kicker. The majority of residents oppose this deal, yet it passed anyway. What they're not telling you about this deal reveals exactly where Charlotte's headed next. First, let's get into the numbers, because if you get where all the money is coming from and where it's going, you'll see why this project could change Charlotte's future for real. The total project scope is $800 million of direct renovations, with up to $1.22 billion in investment in future capital improvements. The city's contribution is $650 million from Charlotte's hospitality and tourism tax, legally obligated for tourism and economic development projects. Tepper Sports and Entertainment contribution is about $150 million up front, plus an additional $421 million committed for future capital investments. But before you write this off as just another stadium deal, wait until you hear how it passed, even though most people were against it. Something that makes this deal a little bit unique and protects the city is that all budget overruns are covered by private equity, not taxpayers, which shields the city from cost escalations that often plague major construction projects. The stadium hosts nearly 40 events annually, and this consistent event calendar provides predictable economic activity throughout the year, not just football season. Now, before you decide how you feel about this, you should know exactly what Charlotte's getting in return. But hang on, if you're keeping an eye on big changes that could affect your property value or future investments, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're going to break down everything from deals like this to changes in neighborhoods, new transit lines, and big commercial projects that shape Charlotte's real estate scene. You'll want to be in the loop here. Now we'll switch away from the money side to see what's actually going to look like and what people in Charlotte and visitors will see and enjoy once all the work is done. First, there's going to be complete replacement of all 75,000 seats for improved comfort and accessibility. The current seats were installed in 1996 and lack modern comfort features and accessibility compliance that today's venues require. Another thing that the project will include is major concourse expansions with skyline view, patios, and social spaces. These additions create gathering areas that encourage longer stays and higher per visitor spending on concessions and merchandise. And speaking of big spending, wait until you hear the economic impact that this is expected to bring. Over the years, ADA guidelines have changed, and this project will ensure that the stadium complies with all ADA rules. It will offer new ramps, elevators, widened paths, and improved accessibility seating. I'm also interested to take a look at the new technology package with state-of-the-art sound systems, high-res video boards, and exterior screens. These upgrades enable better game day experiences and expand the facility's capability to host concerts and other entertainment events. And then, like any other major construction project today, there's going to be a focus on sustainability with high-efficient HVAC, lighting, plumbing, waste reduction, and water-saving bathrooms. Modern systems will reduce operating costs and environmental impact while improving visitor comfort. You'll also notice from the outside and exterior transformation, the goal is to create a destination that attracts visitors even on non-event days. And the last key point is creating a multi-use upgrade, meaning that concerts, international soccer, community events, and possibly mega events, this flexibility dramatically expands revenue potential beyond NFL and MLS seasons. And here's how Charlotte plans to complete this huge project without ever closing the stadium. 2025 will really be more of a planning phase, while 2026 through 2029 will have a phased renovation and multiple package. This extended timeline allows for careful planning and minimizes disruption to existing events. The stadium remains operational throughout construction. Charlotte prioritized keeping teams playing and events happening, which creates complexity but preserves economic impact during the renovation. And it'll have full completion by the NFL's 2029 season. This timeline aligns with both teams' competitive schedules and positions Charlotte for hosting major events in the facility's modern configuration. Let's look at the strategy behind the move and why it matters. The deal isn't just about fixing the stadium, it's about making sure that Charlotte stays a major league city. There's been a lot of discussion in the last handful of years around whether or not new ownership would be looking to relocate the team to a different city. This deal provides a 20-year non-relocation agreement for the Panthers and Charlotte FC through 2045. This timeline extends well beyond typical stadium deals, providing long-term stability for economic planning and development. Another point in this deal is that Charlotte secures long-term use while TSE maintains ownership and operations. This arrangement gives the city guaranteed access while leaving operational expertise and financial responsibility with private ownership. And you've got to hear about the huge public backlash that this deal faced and why it's still getting approved even though most people were against it. And I'll get to that in just a second. Another key point is job creation, both short-term in construction jobs and long-term in stadium operations and event hospitality. But it extends beyond just the stadium directly and includes demand for hotels, restaurants, and service businesses. Another key point is how the deal mandates a robust minority and small business participation required. A significant portion of the city-funded contracts will be minority or women-owned businesses, ensuring that local firms benefit from construction and operational spending. The deal will also give a multi-use event hosting space expanded beyond football and soccer. The facility's enhanced capabilities open up opportunities for large concerts, international events, and community gatherings that just weren't feasible in its current configuration. All right, so now let's talk about what this means for Charlotte real estate and business opportunities. The stadium renovation will enhance Charlotte's profile for hosting mega events and tourism beyond current facility capacity. The upgraded facility can bid on events that currently go to newer venues in competing cities. And Uptown Charlotte's infrastructure investment signals a long-term city leadership commitment. This level of public investment demonstrates Charlotte's dedication to maintaining its urban core as the regional entertainment hub. The deal also guarantees a major event calendar for the next 20 years, which stabilizes Charlotte's business district, and local businesses can plan long-term strategies knowing that there's going to be consistent foot traffic and visitor spending because they've been secured by this deal. The estimated impact economically is about $1.1 billion from stadium events alone. This figure represents direct spending by visitors, not including secondary economic effects throughout the region. The stadium's central location has accessibility to hotels, restaurants, and attractions without having to have additional transportation, and the stadium's urban location maximizes visitor spending in Charlotte businesses rather than suburban locations. Before I wrap this up with some final thoughts, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's look at why so many people pushed back against this deal, even with the economic reasons behind it. And let's see what it tells us about how Charlotte might handle big projects like this in the future. The biggest thing that caused pushback is public funding and skepticism around that. The opposition to subsidizing private sports franchise ownership. Many residents view corporate welfare as benefiting wealthy team owners at taxpayer expense. This perspective reflects broader national debates around public funding for privately owned entertainment businesses. Many critics question whether promised economic benefits will ever materialize or justify the public investment level in what some people termed as the worst economic development deal of 2024. There are many questions about whether similar investments delivered promised benefits in other cities, and public skepticism draws from mixed results of stadium investments in other markets over the last 20 years. While the business community supports economic development, the general public lens is against public funding. This split reflects different priorities and risk assessments between business interests and residential taxpayers. Business leaders in hospitality industries champion economic impact, job creation, and securing pro sports, and these stakeholders directly benefit from increased visitor spending and event-related business activity. Fans of these teams support improved amenities, keeping teams in the city, and a competitive stadium profile. Season ticket holders and regular attendees prioritize facility quality and team retention over where the funds come from. And on the other side of the coin, you have residents who prefer funds going towards infrastructure, education, social services over sports facilities. And this tension highlights competing visions for how cities should allocate limited public resources. Another concern is that this is one of the largest largest public-private partnerships in Charlotte's history, and the scale of this agreement sets precedents for future development decisions and public-private collaborations. So what does all this mean for you and Charlotte's future? Well, here's the bottom line. This $800 million investment is Charlotte's biggest bet on staying a major league city. Whether you think it's a smart move or a controversial use of public money, it'll affect Charlotte's market position, property values, and business chances for the next 20 years. And if you want to stay ahead of Charlotte's big market changes and new opportunities, send us a message at info@jwhitegroup.com to chat. We'll break down every major development that's affecting our market, from infrastructure projects to neighborhood changes. And if you're buying a home here, you should definitely reach out. But don't go just yet. We've got another video linked here where we rank all of Charlotte's suburbs. You should watch it if you're buying your first home or if you're planning to upgrade in 2025. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.